Yes, good morning, Brenton. And yes, it certainly is quite nippy and pretty strong wind blowing out there for sure. And let's hope that just calms down throughout the day. But interesting, the first end has been completed in this match we're featuring. And the Jordan King side were actually holding 3 shots on the very first end. And Mike Kernaghan, of course, the 2007 champion, who played with Dave Archer, who's also out here playing in the last stage of the pairs this morning. But Mike Kernaghan shown all his class and drew the shot to score a 1 on the very first end of this 18-end quarter-final match.
Yeah, very much looking forward to this battle between two very well-credentialed pairs. Of course, Ryan Burnett, the Scottish international, also in the quarterfinals of the men's singles, and very much amongst the leading contenders in the singles as well. As it is, in fact, has played 2 ends here, so it was actually Jordan King and Nathon Glasson who scored on the first end, and then Mike Kernaghan and Ryan Burnett scoring on the second. So it's 1-1 after 2 of the 18 ends. As the skips now make their way to the mat, it'll be Mike Kernaghan to play first, followed by Jordan King. The leads from both these two sides, Ryan Burnett and Nathon Glasson, have already had their first bowls of this third end. Of course, 18 ends we're playing here in this men's pairs quarter-final.
The green Brenton's running around about 17 to 18 seconds, and this front green here at Papanui Club is certainly a very, very good running surface. So you watch the Kernaghan bowl break in towards the head and draw, in fact draws a front toucher sitting right on top of the jack. The Northeast Valley player, of course, was a winner of the World Fours back in 2016, playing 2 for Ali Forsyth when they won the world title. And of course, certainly in the frame, I imagine, with the selectors for the World Bowls team, which will be announced shortly after the Trans-Tasman. I believe the Trans-Tasman side, the selectors are inside meeting right now, and I believe the Trans-Tasman side to play Australia early in February will be announced within the next couple of days.
Yes, they've made it clear, haven't they, selectors, Kevin, that this is a key event in the lead up to the Trans-Tasman, of course, in the lead up to World Bowls as well. World Bowls Championships in May and June on the Gold Coast. So that's why all the players have pretty much turned up. All of the high performance squad for women are here at these Summmerset National Singles and Pairs, and very much the majority of the men, I think with the exception being Shannon McElroy and also Jamie Hill.
Well, just news on Jamie Hill at Brenton. I believe that as of yesterday, Jamie Hill has now made himself unavailable for the New Zealand side due to family and work commitments, etc., which one can understand. It's an amateur sport, really, and Jamie's got 2 young boys, and I believe that he was notified, in fact, yesterday to the selectors that that he is the name's out of the hat now for the New Zealand squad.
Yeah, well, it is a massive commitment, isn't it? Was it 10 days at the Asia Pacific Championships last year, followed up by another 10 days with the multi-nations and Trans-Tasman back-to-back. Obviously deciding it's too much of a commitment, too much time away for his family, and as you say, Kevin, very much understandable as we get to that very much the business end now of this third end of 18 men's pairs quarter-final. As with the hood on is Jordan King, defending champion. Skipped this year after being a lead last year. He's not far away here as gets a run off that front bowl. Just glides past the jack.
A feather off that bowl, didn't he? He was very, very close to getting the actual target.
Ryan Burnett's going to do the honours with a measure. See if that was indeed enough for the shot. Obviously our camera angle can be slightly deceiving. And looks like it is going to be that 1-2 Mike Kernaghan, I believe, again, is it?
That's the way how the measure looked, Brenton, and I see now Ryan Burnett has got the mat.
So 2-1 now. Mike Kernaghan and Ryan Burnett over Nathon Glasson and Jordan King. King skipping, as I said, after being a lead in the successful pair last year. And with Ryan Burnett having a men's singles quarterfinal later today. This is one of the reasons why we've got a men's peers quarterfinal this stage of the day. Also have 4 games going on in the men's peers last 16, and we'll keep you up to date with all of those here on the screen here at Papanui Club. And we also have one other men's peers quarterfinal as well. Just on the rink alongside here, we have Raymond Martin and Robert Bennett up against Finbar McGuigan and Mike Carroll. And then we have 4 men's peers last 16 matches. Pat Houlihan and Howard O'Donnell up against Bruce McNish and David Archer. We have Keanu Darby and Richard Kerr up against Shane Sincock and Warren Park. Andrew Kelly and Richard Hocking up against Kevin Gore and Paul Beecroft. And Taylor Horn and Sheldon Baggery Howley up against Craig Merrillees and Craig Tinker. So we'll keep you up to date with them, along with the women's matches, which we have also taking place. We have some on the back green, so we'll make our way around the boards to those as well for you. As Ryan Burnett on the mat, playing on the backhand side. This one looks on a good track. It's just going to get a little feather on the jack and glide past. Mike Kernaghan will mark that one as a touch-up. Ryan Burnett, who was so impressive in the singles, and already made it through to the quarterfinals before doing likewise in the men's peers yesterday to get to this stage. Took out Gary Lawson in round of 16 of the men's singles to get to this position. Glasson's latest effort just ends up short. Now Ryan Burnett will follow this one down, head down all the way, backhand again, hanging it out wide on these fast greens here at Papanui Club. Doesn't quite have the weight. Looks on a pretty decent track. Not quite going to find its way back to the line. But that'll be the shot bowl. And now Nathan Glasson needs to respond for his skip, Jordan King. Again playing on the backhand side. Not quite as wide a line as the last from Ryan Burnett. This is just going to slide past the jack, find a home alongside those Burnett bowls. Not a bad effort, not far away from getting a piece of the jack. Now it's up to the skips. If you have just joined us here, very warm welcome to you at Papanui Club in Christchurch. As you can see, with all the players rugged up, with Jordan King wearing a hoodie and got the hood up. All the players donning jackets on the green in front of us. It's a cold old morning here in Christchurch. Very blustery winds coming across the green, buffeting the players. Very much to have had a mix of weather conditions over the last few days in particular. We had some rain yesterday after some very hot periods, particularly on Sunday evening, when it was almost 30 degrees. As Mike Kernaghan finds its way to the tee. So not a bad home if the jack does move. And now playing on the forehand side is Jordan King. He's going to try and pick his way through those Nathan Glasson bowls, but looks to be on a really wide line. Didn't quite get the weight right there, or the line. As you see, it's not made its way anyway near back to that centre line. White bowl of Jordan King hanging out to left of screen. Now Kernaghan quickly about his work, the Blackjacks International. Continuing on this backhand side. This looks a better weight. That's going to come up short. So a bit of an overcorrection there from Kernaghan. After his first, you can see right at the bottom of the screen, right on the tee. And his second effort coming up short. Again, great line from the experienced player. So he's got that going well, but just needs to adjust his weight. Try and add to the count, but playing catch up on this head is Jordan King. He's certainly adjusted his line from the previous. Is he going to pick his way through those bowls? He is. He's just going to slide through. Is he? Is going to sit on that Burnett bowl? It does, and that should be enough for shot. So great bowl that from Jordan King. So early days in this men's pairs quarter-final. Two national squad members, and Mike Kernaghan and Jordan King. Kernaghan, of course, already capped multiple times by the Black Jacks, and unfortunately that running shot there from Kernaghan, all it can do is tip the King bowl a bit closer to the Jack, making it for sure that Jordan King is holding one. And now he'll try and make it a second, see if he can replicate his previous bowl, pick his way through that little opening between those short Nathon Glasson bowls. This one looks a bit narrower though. It's going to come under the line, and that's not going to add to the count. Nathon Glasson kicks that away, and it will be all tied up now, 2 apiece between Mike Kernaghan and Ryan Burnett up against Jordan King and Nathon Glasson. Now after 4 of the 18 ends in this men's pairs quarter-final. We'll keep you up to date with some of the other games as well throughout the contest. We've got another men's pairs quarter-final taking place between Raymond Martin and Robert Bennett up against Finbar McGuigan and Mike Carroll, along with 4 games in the last 16 of the men's pairs as well. So one of the games we're covering is one of the first men's pairs quarterfinals. The rest to come later today, and all going well, we'll also get through semi-finals today as well, and it'll all be about the finals of all 4 events: men's and women's singles and men's and women's pairs. Ryan Burnett quickly turned his back on that one, as the wind will no doubt be a tricky thing to deal with for all players. His first bowl coming up well short. On the backhand side now is Nathon Glasson. See if he can pick his way around his first bowl. This one looks on a good line towards the Jack. It's just going to come under the line. But decent weight from Nathon Glasson. Now switching hands is the Scotsman, Ryan Burnett, playing on the backhand. And this time the line looks pretty handy. It's just going to come under in the end. Touch too much weight, so now on the backhand is Nathon Glasson with his 3rd and final bowl of this 5th end of 18. Looking to make it slide adjustment, trying to coax it back to the centre line, but it's just not going to go on the wind that time. That just stays out, hangs out wide. Now Ryan Burnett quickly on the mat, quickly to his work, following this one down, trying to pick him between those Nathon Glasson bowls, but he's going to come out around them. So pretty scrappy end so far from the leads. Some very challenging weather conditions here, Kevin Nicklin.
Certainly is, Brenton. You know, that wind, it makes it so difficult on the draw, and you know, sometimes it's in the lap of the gods. But it's early on in this game, and even though we've got the wind, because these guys are top players, they'll find the best lines to and lengths to play, so as that they can get consistency in their draw. If you look at there, the weight of the bowls, actually 3 of them wasn't too bad. It's just it's very, very hard to adjust, because the wind, of course, is the wind, of course, is just, it's coming in spasms of heavy. You just watch this bowl now. Of course, Jordan King's, it's just going to not come back at all. Just sits outside, feathers off a very front bowl, and Kernaghan, have a look. Who's got the shot?
Yeah, it's just trying to get that bowl in between the wind gusts, isn't it? Because we've seen some come well under the line here on that backhand side and have really come back. Others are just hanging wide out there on the backhand side. so far in this, the 5th end of 18 men's pairs quarter-final action here, the Summmerset National Singles and Pairs. It's a pleasure to bring you this coverage from Papanui Club. The beautiful greens here.
I think, Brendan, this is where, you know, it really tests the mettle of the top players, the likes of Mike Kernaghan, the vast array of experience to be able to get those lines right. As you watch this bowl of Kernaghan's break down towards the head, now is it just going to run by, but certainly had a very, very good line, and that looks for him to be the closest at this point in time.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Yes, it is.
It's a shot bowl just past the head, but maybe only a couple of feet away. There's a toucher. Just slid past the jack, so Ryan Burnett giving it the chalk. As Jordan King tries to respond, but again, just left dumbfounded as he just hangs one out on that backhand side, and it does not come back.
I just wonder, Brenton, whereby watch Kernaghan draw down on his forehand side of the rink there, and did seem, even though he had the wind, it did seem to have a natural arc in towards the jack, whereas playing the other side of the rink just seems to be hanging wide on that side. As we see now, Mike Kernaghan's second bowl, which is going to pull up short.
Again, finding its way back to that centre line. Yes, it got a bit of help there off the Nathon Glasson bowl, but great line from the veteran. We
see now Jordan King has changed his hand now following the Mike Kernaghan bowl. He's on the drive, in fact, to the counting bowl of Kernaghan's, and he went through the gap. I thought he had that bowl clean.
Not quite sure how he managed to find that gap, that small gap here. Just so you see the Kernaghan bowl just to the right of the jack, the black bowl, and then the blue bowl just to the further to the right of that. He found a way through that little gap, which from the mat in particular looks absolutely minute, because Kernaghan will now try and add to the count and add more misery on King and Glasson. It's not going to be far away if it sits up. I might have to do a measure here.
I think that'll count that last bolt.
Yeah, the measure coming in from Ryan Burnett. As we see a few hats flying everywhere. Shortly after he delivered that bowl, Mike Kernaghan's familiar bucket hat went flying. Oh, so that bowl actually to the left of screen also in the count. Ryan Burnett measuring that first. So that one's been certainly a so I'll wait and see the count from the players, but I think it's two. Mike Kernaghan helping us out there, very much obliged. So 4-2 now, Mike Kernaghan and Ryan Burnett over Nathon Glasson and Jordan King. Jordan King, of course, skipping this combination after playing as the champion lead last year at Carlton, Cornwall and Auckland. The Summmerset National Singles and Pairs were held.
So the jack's been delivered, playing up towards us in the commentary position here. A brief full length head as well with the yellow jacks. Burnett now on the backhand, the Broadbeach player, Scottish under 25 player as well, and has won a number of titles on the Broadbeach, and Broadbeach of course playing with Ryan Bester. Good opening bowl here from Burnett. It's going to sit right alongside the jack. A claim from Mike Kernaghan, just went past, sat him behind the jack. It's a very good bowl in these conditions. Nathon Glasson now as well on his backhand, the Canterbury player. Been a Canterbury representative for a number of years, and earlier this year, in fact, playing the Pairs, won the Stoke $20,000 invitation Pairs, playing with Andrew Kelly. So a very good player is Nathon Glasson.
And of course we saw him in Bowls 3-5 as well, with the Elmwood Park Saints as well.
Ryan Burnett, the trademark, very quick player, just like Ryan Bester, onto the mat, and it's been delivered. He didn't like this one when he let it go, as it breaks down towards the head, and a question how the weight's going to get to the jack. Again, this is a pretty handy bowl in these conditions, and sits virtually jack level.
Yeah, what a mentor to have with Ryan Burnett, having the Master Blaster and Ryan Bester at Broadbeach Bowling Club on the Gold Coast. And you can see some of those mannerisms of Bester certainly been passed on.
Nathan Glasson, very, very good response here. In fact, got a touch on the jack, just moved past, sat alongside, and that'll be shot. And of course, Ryan Burnett, the partner of Caitlin Inch, who's into the quarterfinals of the still going in the women's pairs and the women's singles, and a very, very integral part of the blackjack side.
Yeah, quite some couple, aren't they? Both in the pairs and singles. Both Caitlin Inch and Ryan Burnett certainly been the best performed couple at these Summmerset National Singles and Pairs. There's no doubt about that, and they'll be looking to celebrate in some style tomorrow. Obviously a lot of work to do though here. Both quarterfinals to come in both disciplines for both Burnett and Inch today before we get to finals day tomorrow.
Another good green bowl here by Nathan Glasson as it breaks down towards the jack. It's on the centre line, going to pull up fractionally short, but I just wonder, Brendan, whether, because playing out towards the clubhouse, there's a bit more protection from that wind, because this head, compared to the last head going away from the clubhouse, where we had to get the clothesline out for part of that head, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bowls all within pretty good proximity of the jack and coming back to the centre line, so there's more than likely some protection there from these buffeting blustery winds that we have got.
Yeah, it's only meant to reach, I think, a high of 17 degrees today, so certainly not a warm Canterbury summer's day, that's for sure. Players, as I mentioned earlier, have had a bit of everything over the last few days, so certainly well equipped for this. As this one is just not going to come back to where Mike Kernaghan wanted it to, as he hung it out on that backhand side, and it hasn't made its way back to the line. I think it's just in play. It's not in the ditch.
Great thing about Mike Kernaghan is he's one of the great players here in New Zealand of getting his line right. He's a fanatic on making sure he gets his bowls back to the centre line, and you don't very often see him coming under the head with his bowls. He's a very, very strong technical player, and his international record, of course, and New Zealand record proves that. Winner of New Zealand Gold Star, won 6 New Zealand titles, and of course played number 2 for LA Forsyth in winning the World Fours at Christchurch in 2016.
And very much wants to be part of that World Bowls Championship team, no doubt, in May and June as well. And after having to sit out the Multi-Nations and Trans-Tasman late last year due to work commitments, no doubt be wanting to prove a point here and try to capture yet another national title.
Which is bowler Kernaghan's, just as I said about him getting back to the centre line, he's actually played a narrow bolt, most unusual. Be one to, looking at the monitor, be one to Nathan Glasson at this point, with Kernaghan and Burnett leading 4-2. 4-2 after 5 ends over the Nathan Glasson Jordan King combination, 5 of 18 ends.
So Kernaghan followed that one down despite having a bowl still to play. Wanted to check out that head. Now Jordan King on the backhand side. I think this is going to find a similar home to Mike Kernaghan's first bowl, as it hangs out wide, and just at the bottom of the screen, just by a graphic, is where the Kernaghan bowl is. It's just going to rest right in front of that bowl.
So it's interesting, Kernaghan coming up to the head to have a look, whether he's looking at some other shot, because he's got a couple of seconds, but would no doubt lose his own bowl. And sometimes in these conditions, Brendan, it's easier to play with weight rather than try and dead draw and be at the hands of the wind conditions. At least you're playing with weight, of course it's going to hold you up.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does play here, and he is playing with weight, Kernaghan. See if he can knock away that shot bowl of Glasson. He's going to come under the line.
He had 2 seconds, so Kernaghan thought that's pretty tough to draw that shot, so I'll try and dislodge the shot bowl. But was narrow and missed it.
And King will try and add a second here. Can he make an adjustment from his previous bowl? Too much weight with his first, this time coming back towards the centre line from Jordan King. It's going to end up short, and Nathan Glasson picks up the mat, and it should be one more for Jordan King and Nathan Glasson. 4-3 after 6 now of the 18 ends. So already we've raced through a third of this men's pairs quarterfinal. Yeah, if you've just joined us, yes, it is a men's pairs quarterfinal. We have one other men's pairs quarterfinal currently in action. It's Raymond Martin and Robert Bennett up against Finbar McGuigan and Mike Carroll. It is 8-3 after 5 of the 18 ends there. I believe to Martin and Bennett.
So very shortly, Alex would have gone around the boards of both the back green here where the women are playing and the other rinks here, and we'll be able to give you an update of the various rinks. Good opening bowl there from Nathan Glasson, going down towards the Papanui club end and just draws just in front of the jack. Very, very good opening bowl.
That's a great start, isn't it? After playing the jack, after getting back control of the mat, to get one that close to what we saw from the previous time we played down to the Papanui club end. It's just pretty tough conditions playing towards this side. It was very much scattered after the leads, the first bowls, but this is looking a far more consistent head. As again, Nathan Glasson's in the area, playing with a bit more weight that time. He'll be happy that he didn't get rid of his shot bowl and actually just promoted it just a touch.
Very good bowl from Nathan Glasson because it sat in behind the head as we watch Ryan Burnett's bowl, which is going to come up narrow and sort of across the line. And Nathan Glasson certainly two good opening bowls on this, the 7th end.
We'd like to think that Nathan Glasson would have a lot of experience in inter-club competitions, etc., playing on these very greens and these kind of conditions in Canterbury. Obviously, I think they're very foreign on the flip side for Ryan Burnett, who plays out of Broadbeach on the Gold Coast, the Scotsman.
He's been there about 3 years now, and now very much part of the Broadbeach scene.
Well, I remember when we had even just a zephyr of wind, didn't we, over on the Gold Coast, how much the Australian players found it foreign to them. Well,
very
this
much
is
so.
Much more than just a zephyr here at Papanui Club today, as again, that time the bowl hanging out way on the forehand side from Ryan Burnett. It's going to be just inside the rink. So 2 bowls in particular to forget for Burnett.
See the spectators there all wrapped up like watching a Super 15 rugby match down here. But, certainly there's a bit of sun starting to come out. We'll see what that does throughout the day, but certainly we've started off with very cold conditions and breezy.
On the mat is Jordan King. He's taken the hood off, so it must be getting a bit warmer out there. Kevin playing on the forehand side. Nathan Glasson looks interested in this one, trying to coax it home as it trails back towards the jack now. And that one find a pretty decent home just behind the jack.
Very good home there. Mike Kernaghan staying down there to look at the head to see where that bowl went to. And of course, it's a wee bit difficult for Kernaghan to attack because of the front bowl of Ryan Burnett. And he certainly wouldn't want to lose that because they haven't really got much close. And there's just out of pitch up, there's still a couple of the Jordan King from the Mangere Club in Auckland sitting in behind the head. So Kernaghan will endeavour to draw down, get as close as he can on his forehand, playing down towards the Papanui club end. Splendid new club that was built, resultant after the earthquakes, where the old club got pretty badly knocked around, and they've built this new club here. Fantastic complex. As we watch this Mike Kernaghan bowl just going to drift by, certainly had a good line.
Yeah, I think there's a carvery in there, a bar, and I think a big gym complex. It's yeah, quite an impressive building, that's for sure. On a lovely size site as well. Certainly a new one for me to visit over the last few days. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Certainly enjoyed the hospitality here at Papanui Club as well. If you are in the area, make sure you do get down. The the scones in particular, one's not to be missed.
Yeah, also those buns at lunchtime with the cheese and onion and things like that. That's very, very tasty as well. The ladies here at the Papanui Club certainly look after us well as we watch Mike Kernaghan play now his second bowl on this, the seventh end, definitely down on the head. Ryan Burnett's taking interest in this bowl as it breaks its way down. Looks to be pretty handy if it gets inside that bowl, and it will.
That should be the shot. Nathan Glasson just looking over at things. No, he's still signalling that they had one, I think.
Oh, the front bowl still looks, yeah, when we look back on the monitor, just now we may see Kernaghan attack with his last bowl, depending, of course, where this bowler Jordan King skip. Defending champion, of course, is Jordan King. Minus Chris Lowe this year. But certainly an able replacement with Nathan Glasson.
Well, it must be great to be coming down here after winning a national title in your home city, to come down to Canterbury and to have a local and Nathan Glasson. And that's a great bowl from Jordan King in these tricky windy conditions to draw a near toucher. Whatever you can do, Mike Kernaghan, I can do better. Jordan King says there with a fantastic bowl, now putting all the pressure on the experienced Kernaghan.
Certainly was a great bowl from Jordan King. Just drew inside and around what is the shot bowl of Nathan Glasson's, and I'm sure we're going to see Kernaghan would attack down there to try and get to those two counting bowls. It's on the mat. No, he's playing down. Changed hand on the draw, trying to get down to the jack on the other hand. Ryan Burnett's having a close look at this as well as it breaks down towards the head. Let's see whether it gets to the jack or not. And he does. What a magnificent bowl from Mike Kernaghan, changing his hand. And
I'm going to have a measure here to see who has got the shot. Great final bowl from Mike Kernaghan. Well, certainly answered after that great draw from King. Kernaghan with a weighted effort on the backhand side.
So we'll just see who takes hold of the mat, and it was...
Yeah, 1-2, Jordan King and Nathan Glasson. So despite that final effort from Mike Kernaghan, wasn't able to take the shot for his side with Ryan Burnett. So we're all tied up now, 4 apiece after 7 of the 18 ends in this men's pairs quarter-final.
We certainly saw then, Brendan, a different head going down towards the Papanui Club to what we'd seen the previous one. They got there, so perhaps they are getting there, you know, they're getting the feel of where the lines are with the wind, etc. And
yeah, and maybe the wind just died down a touch as well. Wasn't quite as gustier as it was that previous end that we played that way. Certainly when you just dashed away from the desk momentarily, Kevin, we had the screen falling over and everything was going all over the place. So maybe that wind has just died down just a few kilometres, which will be much appreciated by not just us but the players as well.
So Nathan Glasson opens with a touch-up, so the wind's certainly not affecting the Cantabrian lead. Draws right on top of the jack. He played the last 3 ends. Nathan Glasson certainly put the pressure on with his drawing ability, but for sure Ryan Burnett is going to cut under the line and be short.
It's left Mike Kernaghan a bit of catching up to do. The last couple of ends, Glasson has been dictating the terms amongst the 2 leads, himself and Ryan Burnett, who has been one of the more impressive players of these Summmerset national singles and pairs. There's no doubt about that. And look out for him, singles. And he's in the quarterfinals of that discipline as well. And he'll be amongst the favourites.
Well, of course, on the first day of singles, he beat Tony Grantham in his first game, and then played Graham Skillern and defeated him, and then played Gary Lawson, of course, in the last game, and had a convincing win, in fact, over the current New Zealand blackjack player by 21-9. So in the singles, he's been in very, very good form.
Yeah, it certainly has. My understanding, he's carried that over to the pairs, but hasn't quite found his range so far today. And what we must say, and we have said, very difficult weather conditions, blustery, gusty winds. as Nathan Glasson stalks his third and final effort down the green, trying to coax it back to the jack, and this is not a bad effort, going to be pretty much finishing jack level, and piling the pressure on is Glasson. And I think we're going to see some weight now from Burnett. He's had enough at the draw. Let's try and get rid of these shot bowls from Glasson, and he gets rid of one, tried to get rid of the second, unfortunate not to get a touch on that first and knock away the second as well, but half the job done there from Ryan Burnett, and he'll make his way to a skip Mike Kernaghan in a bit more of a happier state of mind.
Certainly not afraid to attack the head. Ryan Bennett, watched him the other day in the singles, especially in the Tony Grantham game, where he drove very, very well. But you know, very, very attacking player, following the Ryan Bester mould, who is his mentor back there at Broad Beach. But no doubt, Nathan Glasson, the last 3 ends, is certainly he's no wind as far as he's concerned, and drawn superb bowls, lead bowls.
Yeah, certainly has managed it expertly as well, as now his skip, Jordan King, looking to emulate those Nathan Glasson bowls. So Ryan Burnett just got rid of a toucher, and now there's another toucher from Jordan King this time, as Nathan Glasson comes and provides the chalk. So it's relentless pressure from this pairing of Glasson and King.
They certainly are putting the pressure on the draw, both of these two players, because Jordan King plays out of the Mangere Club in Auckland, and very strong club is the Mangere Club now. A lot of that Auckland side based at Mangere. Another one out here playing, Taylor Horn, who's in the last 8 of the pairs as well, was another member of the Mangere Club. And the King name has been synonymous with the Mangere Club for a number of years. His father, Tommy, as we watch the Kernaghan bowl, breaking down towards the head, but not going to quite have the weight. It was another metre of weight. He would have got him close to those 2 counting bowls of...
As you can see, it was right on the line, Kernaghan, that he was going for where the jack is. But yeah, as Kevin mentioned, not quite the weight. Now Jordan King will look to try and emulate his previous bowl. This one looks to be on a wider line on that backhand, and asking too much from it. And as we've seen a few times, once you start out that wide, you're not going to come back, unfortunately. The weight was nearly perfect, but didn't pick that right line, and that one just hangs out there wide on the right hand side of the screen.
So here's the Kernaghan second bowl. This looks to be on a pretty good line this time, as it breaks down towards the head. Is going to sit on the bowl or get the jack. Just got a feather on one of the counting bowls, just ran by.
Great effort. Unfortunately though, it hasn't changed the count. Still looks like 2 to King and Glasson.
Important thing here for Jordan King is he does stay on the wider side of the head, because he wouldn't want to get narrow and turn the Mike Kernaghan bowl over, but not, which can happen in these windy conditions. You can pay dearly if you get on too much on the narrow side.
Urging it on is Nathan Glasson. It's just going to run into Glasson's bowl, but that should be a third.
That'll be a third, all right. 3 good bowl, the 3 good shots sitting adjacent to the jack.
Has given Mike Kernaghan a bit of a target though.
It has. Kernaghan, you might see him just play with weight to try and dislodge or get to the jack. You can't see the jack clean, I wouldn't think, because of the front bowl. So he's on the backhand. This is the Northeast Valley.
And here comes the run shot from Kernaghan. So not a full-on drive, but just trying to access the jack if he can. This looks like a pretty handy line. It's just going to slide by. Won't count, so that should be 3 to King and Glasson. 7-3 they now lead after 8 of the 18 ends. So well played by the young combination, featuring the defending champion Jordan King, who won this title at Carlton, Cornwall at the start of last year with Chris Lowe. That was when he was in the lead role, now playing as skip. and doing so very well against a very good combination. And the youngster Ryan Burnett of Scotland and the experienced blackjack and Mike Kernaghan.
Well, the last 3 ends have certainly drawn. Both King and Glasson have been drawing very, very much close to the jack. Good, building up very, very good heads, and the pressure has been on Mike Kernaghan when they've swapped over, for sure, because Nathan Glasson has done the job well for his skip, especially on ends 5, 6 and 7, where they've scored a 1, a 1 and a 3, and a lot of that has been set up by the bowls played by Nathan Glasson.
Yeah, I can bring you up to date very shortly from the other men's pairs quarter-final, which is happening adjacent to this one. And it is Raymond Martin and Robert Bennett who are so far running away with it against Finbar McGuigan and Mike Carroll of Stokes Valley after 8 of the 18 ends there. It is 15-3 to Raymond Martin and Robert Bennett. So
Raymond Martin, the Wellington player, has been very, very impressive in this event. And of course, Raymond Martin had been one of the New Zealand selections this year to go to the Hong Kong Invitation Pairs with Seamus Curtin, along with Wendy Jensen and Kirsten Edwards. But of course, the invitation event was called off because of the political unrest in Hong Kong. So Raymond Martin is certainly a very, very good player. Got beaten in the final the other year in the fours, and part of the Wellington scene for a long, long time, and has always featured well in New Zealand championships in the last coming years, both in pairs and fours. And boy, this time going down towards the Papua Nui Club, they've got the scatters out for sure. The length of the jack has been increased. One of Ryan Burnett's bowls is already on the bank, didn't come alive.
Oh, this is more familiar, isn't it? Playing this way is what we saw a couple of times ago. Not the last visit down this end, but the one before that, where the bowls were just scattered to all parts of the green, it seemed, and nowhere near the jack. And it's a more similar one to that is Nathan Glasson's going to come well under the line as well.
We saw that bowl then move at least a couple of metres as it broke down towards the jack with dead drawing weight, and just got that wind and just bang, away it goes. So we've seen now Ryan Bennett change his hand, and he has to get under this very short bowl, and he's not going to. He might draw inside and get the shot from a distance away, but well, they would be a good couple of metres away, those bowls, Brendan, wouldn't they, from the jack?
Oh, absolutely. This is very much more familiar what we saw 2 visits ago on this end, and that wind again gusting up just as the players were playing their bowls.
And it's interesting as well that the length of the jack got altered this time, going down towards the Papua Nui Club, and played a lot longer length, and we certainly say that the result of that.
Well, you can see that first bowl, isn't it, from Nathan Glasson, which is probably what, 1.5 metres away at least, is the shot bowl at the moment. So it hasn't been the prettiest of ends so far. We'll see if the skips can do a better job just as the wind dies down momentarily. And that doesn't assist Jordan King as he runs into that wide bowl of Ryan Burnett.
So Mike Kernaghan will play down on his forehand, and his green he'll be taking is to just get inside the blue bowl out to the side of Ryan Burnett's, because that's about the line depending upon the wind, but he looks to be way out wider than that line, and it won't come back far enough, I wouldn't think.
He was playing for the wind and it didn't come. It
No,
simply didn't come,
no.
Kevin. We've seen it in this end in particular, the wind really affecting some of these bowls this time. The gust just didn't come, and that Kernaghan bowl just stayed out wide in the end. Lucky to get back on the playing surface.
So we've seen Jordan King now, he's come under that line, and how's this weight going to be as he gets to the jack? Does he know? And that'll move by, and it's a counter for sure back there.
Yeah, that's quite incredible to call that a counter, isn't it? But that's the situation at the moment in these conditions.
Mike Kernaghan's very deliberate on the mat, on the forehand, the charcoal bowls. He's following this one. He doesn't like this one either. He's turned his back on it. And in fact, was on a line to the jack, but didn't have the weight to get to where he wanted. So, Mike Kernaghan now, definitely a couple down on the head. So, Mike Kernaghan watching this bowl now as it breaks down towards the head. He likes this bowl more. There's a couple down on the head trying to get down to the shot bowl. Is he going to get all the way? No, he won't. And the tape will come out. So it was the Jordan King side that scored again. Leading 7-4. They were there after 8 ends, and there might have been a couple. We'll wait and see in but a moment.
Yeah, it certainly is, as Ryan Burnett is doing the honours, and that was 3 in fact. So another 3 back-to-back threes from Jordan King and Nathon Glasson. 10-4 it is now after 9 of the 18 ends, so halfway through this men's pairs quarterfinal contest. And Jordan King and Nathon Glasson taking charge in these very tricky conditions here at Papanui Club in Christchurch, as you can no doubt hear through our microphones. Very blustery wind coming through, and the other men's pairs quarterfinal going on between Raymond Martin and Robert Bennett up against Finbar McGuigan and Mike Carroll. It's Martin who is leading McGuigan at 15-4. Also after 9 of the 18 ends, we also have 4 games ongoing in the men's pairs last 16. We currently have Alex Reid, our roving reporter, going around the boards for us, and we have a number of women's games going on in the green behind us as well. I think we also have a semi-final as well as quarterfinals going on in the women's pairs, and also a women's pairs women's singles quarterfinal as well. So we'll have Alex Reid bringing us up to date with those very shortly.
As we just saw, 2 superb lead bowls from Glasson and Burnett, and it's the Kernaghan side holding 1 shot. The blue bowl of Ryan Burnett sitting just in behind the jack, playing right up to in front of us here in the commentary position, and of course it's a full length head right down towards the 2 metre mark. And Ryan Burnett breaking into the head now. How's the weight going to be as it breaks down? Looks to be on a good line again, this bowl. Is it just going to sit jack level? And it will. Sits virtually right alongside the jack. 2 lovely bowls there from Ryan Burnett. Certainly different to what we saw going down the other way.
Yeah, he seems to be finding his range now as well, because even playing to the seemingly more comfortable side, as we're seeing Waite now playing by Nathon Glasson, coming straight down that line, trying to trail that jack into the ditch, it looked like. Not far away. That one just slid inside. Now Burnett will try and add a 3rd to the count.
Certainly endeavouring to get the jack into the ditch, that's for sure. It was Nathon Glasson with his 3rd bowl. As we watch this bowl, Ryan Burnett's now break down towards the head's going to just drop under the centre line, sit on his own bowl, will count. So it's 3 shots definitely to the Kernaghan side, and they really need now to start scoring again, don't they, Brendan? Because this game can very quickly get away from you.
Yeah, it certainly can. And that will be the focus for these two.
So Jordan King, the skip, makes his way back to the mat. Of course, part of the combination who won the New Zealand pairs last year, the Somerset National pairs in Auckland. And here's King. He's obviously going to go searching for the jack with weight. And he is. He's playing down towards us here in the commentary position, trying to get to the jack clean. Got it clean, ran it straight into the ditch. Stayed alive as well. And they put the marker there on the ditch where the bowl is. And it will definitely be the Glasson side laying a couple of 2 shots. The back bowl of Nathan Glasson's and the bowl of Jordan King's, which is sitting in the ditch, was a toucher and alive.
Very well executed, and we saw the intentions from this combination. Nathan Glasson's third bowl just slid past the jack, and Jordan King executing.
So here's Mike Kernaghan now. There's a camera gives a bit of view of where things are in the ditch. Mike Kernaghan's going to come up short, not get past the... Well, he did knock a Ryan Burnett bowl over, and that might have just would have, I think, cut it back to 1, which is the bowl in the ditch, the toucher. Jordan King certainly gone out on that wide side.
I think that gives you an indication of where the jack is, that he's playing out on that side, so I'd still favour that Nathan Glasson bowl.
You're right, Brendan, because it is out on that side of the peg, isn't it? So one would think, yes, it still is.
And there's a correction coming from Mike Kernaghan, who is narrow with his first. Now coming out wide on that backhand side, looking to draw to the ditch. This is a fair effort. Is it going to hold up? No.
No, it's not. Into the ditch. So it's got to find out that happy medium. Oh, you see the marker there now on where the jack is located in the ditch. You'll see the marker peg sitting along from the number one, and that's where Jordan King certainly gone out on that wide side again. It's breaking its way back towards the head now. Will it get past those front bowls? No, it won't. Just goes out to the side to the peg.
I wouldn't think that would be a counter. Let's see if Mike Kernaghan can make that slight adjustment from the previous one. Probably had 2 feet too much weight. Is this one going to hold up this time? Judging by how the players are acting, I don't think so. As it goes into the ditch once more, so the mat remains in the hands of Nathan Glasson, Jordan King pairing. It's 1 more to King and Glasson. 11-4 they now lead Mike Kernaghan and Ryan Burnett after 10 now of the 18 ends. This is the men's pairs quarterfinals here at the Summmerset National Singles and Pairs at Papanui Club in Christchurch.
Well, it's interesting, Brendan, at the 6th end we were sitting at 4-3 to the Mike Kernaghan combination. We then seen a 1, a 1, a 3, a 3 and a 1, and which has seen the Nathan Glasson Jordan King side jump out to this 11-4 lead of this 18 end match as we watch the first bowl of Nathan Glasson's on this the 11th end. Drop into the ditch, and now we've seen Ryan Burnett going away from us in the commentary position. Now changes hand, try and get that draw down to the jack, and it's going to come up short.
And again, Nathan Glasson in control of the mat after they picked up a 3, playing this way with a long full-length end. Again, playing to the tee. The mat's been brought forward not too far, and the jack right on the tee.
From this line from here, this bowl of Nathan Glasson should drop away under the line, and it will to the jack, and superb. Another good bowl by the Canterbury lead. He's been in commanding form the last few ends, hasn't he, Brendan?
Yeah, it certainly has, and no doubt invaluable for Jordan King to have his local knowledge here, Nathon Glasson, and really has just complemented his lead very well as Jordan King played the shots when he's needed to. Is a lovely shot there from Ryan Burnett, who gets rather fortunate. It's coming off that wide bowl of Nathon Glasson and sits right alongside the jack. So now, for the first time in a while, Nathon Glasson forced to play a bit of catch up.
Persisting on his forehand. There's a good draw down there. To watch this bowl now, breaking down towards the head. This is a great attempt here from Glasson. Breaks towards the jack. It's going to sit right on top of the jack. He does, and just falls back. Great response there from Nathon Glasson.
It looks like that's just the shot from Nathon Glasson, taking it back from Ryan Burnett. So great reply from the Cantabrian. Now the Scotsman looking to answer straight back and trails towards the jack, gets a toucher. Lovely bowl, and we've just seen his quality, haven't we? The last couple of ends. Has struggled in some of these weather conditions, as you would expect any player to struggle in these gusty winds, but he's really found his range in the last couple of ends.
So definitely one to the Kernaghan combination as the skips change over in this quarter-final match here at the Summmerset National Bowls at the Papanui Club in a blustery Christchurch.
Yeah, the wind's coming and going though now, isn't it? It's almost serene for a moment there. It comes in gusts.
Jordan King now playing down his backhand, trying to reach the counting bowls to get to the Nathon Glasson bowl, turn it into the head, and just goes by. Trying to just play with that yard of weight to get to turn the bowl through onto the head. 11-4. Jordan King and Nathon Glasson leading after 10 of 18 ends. And Mike Kernaghan trying to make a couple of it. Breaks down towards the head now. Has to get under the bowl of Glasson's and fall in, and he will, and sits right alongside the jack. But built up a bit of a target though here, Brendan, hasn't it?
And it certainly has. I don't know quite how he found his way through that slightly ajar door, as he has added to the count, but now given, as you say, a big target for Jordan King to have a go at. And he's playing with weight. Here it comes, the drive. And, oh, that's perfectly executed as he knocks away the bowls of both Ryan Burnett and Mike Kernaghan. The Nathon Glasson bowl somehow stays there, sits on the jack, and it's now King and Glasson holding shot.
That was a well-played shot there, weighted shot from Jordan King. Got the perfect split onto the bowls as we watch now. Mike Kernaghan trying to get down to the jack or the counting bowl, breaking down towards the head. Is it going to make contact? It does, but not enough to turn the bowl right out of the head. And of course, Kernaghan couldn't afford to lose his other bowl as well, because the bowl out to the side as well is another Nathon Glasson bowl. So it was imperative that Kernaghan as well got another bowl on the head, which he did, but at least 2 down was Jordan King, perhaps 3 when he played that shot, and got the right result, played perfectly.
Yeah, King now going from the power of the drive to now that finesse of the draw to try and add to the count. It's just going to come around the back of that Kernaghan bowl, and it might be enough for a second, you know.
So Kernaghan, the indication from Ryan Burnett, trying to get down there with weight, play to what is the shot bowl. Leading 11-4 is Jordan King and Nathon Glasson.
A runner coming from Kernaghan, so not a full-blown drive, but trying to get around that front bowl and access the jack. And he's just going to come under the line. So the mat remains firmly in the hands of Nathon Glasson, and they add to their count. It's 1 more to their total. 12-4 it is now after 11 of the 18 ends in this men's pairs quarter-final. It's been quite a run. Glasson and King have compiled after being 4-2 down, I believe.
It was at the 6th end. It was 4-3 to Kernaghan and Glasson, and we've seen that scoring spree of 5, a 1, a 1, a 3, a 3, a 1, and a 1 that we've seen from the King Glasson side. And it's been set up really in these windy conditions by the consistent drawing really of Nathan Glasson, who I think in these conditions Brenton certainly had the measure of Ryan Burnett at this stage of the game.
Yeah, and when Jordan King has been called on, he has delivered as well, whether it be with a draw or the last two ends with a drive, because Ryan Burnett had actually played well the last couple of ends, set something up for a skip, but both times Jordan King had managed to turn the tables for his side. There's this one, another great bowl from Nathan Glasson. Draws its way to the head. He's setting things up very, very nicely. Ryan Burnett now on the backhand side. Looks to reply, and this is a very fair effort. It's just going to slide past. Near perfect weight, not far away from trailing the jack. There's certainly been the end that the players have enjoyed playing, but more too. Certainly more sheltered playing towards this commentary position end than the new Papanui club end here. Mike Kernaghan now saying to Ryan Burnett, play with weight. So the drive coming from the Scotsman. Looks on a decent line. Has it got the jack? No, but it takes out one of the shot bowls of Nathan Glasson. That one pesty one just out to the left of the jack, though, remaining in place. As Kevin Hickland, I think, has got some of the info from Alex Reid, a man who's gone around the grounds.
And I can tell you that the Claire Hendra and Taylor Bruce, they're up against Lindy O'Callaghan and Christine Buchanan, and it's the Bruce Hendra combination that is leading 9-6, 19-10 to Serena Matthews over Jenny Stockford, and the winner of that game, of course, will play Joe Edwards. And in the other semi-final, the women's singles we'll see underway later on this morning is that of Caitlin Inch up against Wendy Jensen. So we've got Serena Matthews leading Jenny Stockford in the singles. The pairs, we've got Claire Hendra and Taylor Bruce leading 9-7, Selena Goddard and Caitlin Inch leading 7-4, and in the Val Smith-Nicole Toomey game, it is 5-all after 6 of 18 ends.
Yeah, and important to note as well that two of those women's pairs matches are quarterfinals. One is in fact a semi-final, so we will be seeing our first finalists of the Summmerset National Singles in Pairs shortly, and that's the match involving Linley O'Callaghan and Christine Buchanan up against Claire Hendra and Taylor Bruce.
And we'll update you on the other quarterfinals of the men's pairs as soon as we can get those up-to-date results.
Yeah, I can let you know that the other men's pairs quarterfinal, which is in action at the moment, is all Raymond Martin and Robert Bennett. They are currently leading Finbar McGuigan and Mike Carroll 18-5 after 11 of the 18 ends. And the other men's pairs games, which we have in progress on the screen, are all round of 16 matches. So we'll keep you up to date with those very shortly.
Out here that it is Nathan Glasson again holding the shot, leading 12-4, just sitting right alongside the jack. And a Ryan Burnett bowl being second shot, sitting out from and behind the head. Jordan King now to the short side. Look at that, got the Mungary Marco shirt, the hoodie's come off, so must be a wee bit warm out there.
Yeah, certainly getting into his work as Jordan King, so feeling a lot more comfortable. And interesting to see that Nathan Glasson is decked out in the Mungary Marco's colours as well.
So 12-4 the lead. 12-4 the lead to King and Glasson.
bowl this from Mike Kernaghan as he tries to get some momentum for his combination. Kernaghan and Burnett playing with weight is the veteran.
Trying to get down to the jack. He's going to be under the head. Gets nothing.
Yeah, was not happy with that one. So the mat remains firmly in the hands of Nathon Glasson. And he and Jordan King continue to add to their score. That's another single to their total. Now 13-4 it is. King and Glasson over Kernaghan and Burnett after 12 of the 18 ends. So we're 2/3 of the way through this contest. And it is all King and Glasson at this stage.
So both these games out in front of us, Brendan. At this stage, it's one-way traffic to the Jordan King side, the defending champion, as it is in the next rank, the Raymond Martin side over Finbar McGuigan. He continued his good form as Raymond Martin.
Yeah, it certainly has in men's pairs. In fact, Finbar McGuigan was coming in very good form as well. Absolutely rolled through their post-section play matches yesterday, but certainly found the going very tough against Raymond Martin and Robert Bennett. And what shouldn't be too unfamiliar conditions to the players playing alongside our match, because all out of the Wellington area, aren't they? So
Four from Wellington, yes.
So be familiar with these gusty conditions.
So Ryan Burnett playing down his backhand. He's drawn about a metre behind the head. Nathon Glasson's first bowl on the forehand sat jack level, about a metre away. What's the Glasson bowl now? Breaking down towards the head. He's played very, very well, has Nathon Glasson, in these very trying conditions. Going to pull up short, about a metre short. So Burnett now quickly into his work. That backhand. Certainly a very quick player is Burnett.
Yeah, certainly has all that momentum going through in his delivery, doesn't it? Almost looks like he's falling over after he leaves the mat. This bowl just going to tuck under, is it? No, just short of that previous bowl from Nathon Glasson.
He certainly struggled, has Ryan Burnett this morning, against the consistency of Nathon Glasson.
Yeah, certainly playing this way as well, and the wind's been a real factor. Nathon Glasson, though, would want one a bit closer than his previous. This is going to sit pretty much jack level.
And he's done that, so
Burnett's not wasting any time on the mat, quickly to work, as he will follow that Glasson bowl down. Playing, though, on the backhand side. This one's just going to hang out there, unfortunately, just outside Glasson's first.
There's not many heads of recent, or the last, obviously, 7 or 8 heads. I think it's only been once they've swapped over, and it's seen the Kernaghan combination actually holding the shot. So, yeah, it's been Nathon Glasson certainly has been outstanding. And quickly on these other peers games, which Brendan said in the games of last 16, I can tell you that Taylor Horn is leading by 12-5 after 11 ends. Andrew Kelly over Kevin Gore. It is Kelly leading 8-4 after 10 ends. Kiranu Darby is playing Shane Sincock, and it is, at this stage it is 11-7 to the South Canterbury combination, and Pat Houlihan and Howard O'Donnell, they're playing Bruce McNish and David Archer. And after 10 of 18 ends, it is Bruce McNish and David Archer leading by 9 shots to 6. 9 shots to 6. And as Brenton said, they in fact are a round of 16. And they, of course, through the last 8. And the other 2 games in front of us here are in fact last 8 matches.
Yeah, so this game playing for a place in the semi-finals. Jordan King going to go a step closer to going back-to-back with different playing partners, which would be quite some accomplishment, and this would be a big result here against a combination that I think many might have fancied going into today, with Mike Kernaghan and Ryan Burnett. Burnett having played fantastically well in the singles, and the experience and the national titles already under the belt for Mike Kernaghan.
they were certainly the TAB favourites, Brenton, going into this event. Looking at the TAB odds, they were certainly the favourites.
Yeah, along with the likes of course, Ali Forsyth and Gary Lawson.
I can tell you now as well that Serena Matthews has won her match over Jenny Stockford by 21-14, 21-14, and will now play Joe Edwards or Serena Matthews in that other semi-final of the women's singles.
Yeah, big thank you to Alex Reid for his work around the boards as well. Our roving reporter making his way over the green behind us, which we have no view of, and of course the green that we are broadcasting from. Rink number 1 here at Papanui Club, and the penultimate day of the Summmerset National Singles and Pairs, men's pairs quarter-final, and so far it is Jordan King and Nathan Glasson in control against Mike Kernaghan and Ryan Burnett. As Jordan King, lefty, the righty, sorry, playing on that backhand side, does not like that one, turns his back on that one pretty quickly. He got on that wide line and it's not really going to come back from there.
Kernaghan and Ryan Burnett down, having a look at the head. What are their options? Well, they just got to get some scoring options, and right now it doesn't seem to be happening for them.
Yeah, especially after Jordan King's penultimate bowl, landing right behind the jack, just adding to the count. Mike Kernaghan, as he has been so many times the last half a dozen ends, been playing catch up. And he's playing a run shot. And he's going to come under the line by the looks of things.
Needs to get it to Black, got a bowl, but won't make a great deal of difference. Still, as Brenton rightly said, that bowler Jordan King's was virtually locked right on the back of the jack.
So it's another single for the King-Glasson partnership. 14-4 it is now after 13 of the 18 ends. And the mat again remains in the hands of Nathan Glasson, who has really dictated terms this morning.
So Brenton and I yesterday both were able to watch Jo Edwards in action yesterday, and she certainly had a tough game in her second game, but I'm sure you'd agree, Brenton, as the day went by, she was Jo Edwards certainly displaying that international ability, which her last 2 games she was certainly in outstanding form.
Yeah, certainly was, and it's great to see the calibre of players that have made it through to the women's singles semi-finals as well. Now Serena Matthews is going to be taking on Jo Edwards in the semi-finals, but going to have 3 blackjacks in the semi-finals of the women's singles, with Caitlin Inch to take on Wendy Jensen in the other semi-final as well. So certainly the cream has risen to the top of the women's singles, as it tends to do.
Of course, it hasn't happened yet, but Caitlin Inch and Jo Edwards did do battle a few years ago in the national finals in Dunedin, where Jo Edwards ran out the winner. But Caitlin Inch is still, of course, going in the pairs, having a very, very good tournament, and no doubt, now a full-time player at Broadbeach, won the Queensland pairs this year, and a very strong part of the blackjack side. And the move this year, Brendan, and you and I were on the Gold Coast, and moving Caitlin Inch to skip. I think we saw the transformation of a new skip for the New Zealand women's side, because she was actually outstanding.
Yeah, she certainly was. She's only getting better. That's the thing with Caitlin Inch. Certainly very much still in the formative years of her bowls career. So if she does get an opportunity to play Jo Edwards in another national final, she will absolutely relish that opportunity.
But of course, up against Wendy Jensen, who was a gold medalist at the Asia Pacific Championships, which earlier on last year. So certainly a tough competitor in that semi-final for Caitlin Inch, up against Wendy Jensen.
Yeah, and likewise for Jo Edwards against this experienced Serena Matthews as well. Both of those semi-finals will be worth a watch. So if you are in the Canterbury area, get down here to Papanui Club and watch that. And we will keep you up to date with those women's matches, but unfortunately on the green that we broadcast from, it's all men's matches today. So all we can do for you is score updates. So if you want to see it yourself, make sure you get down here if you are in the Canterbury area. Otherwise, we'll keep you up to date with all the updates.
Mike Kernaghan just signalled to Ryan Bennett as the skip's changed over, we've got the shot, because
He hasn't been able to say that much.
he has not. So those women's semi-final scores, Serena Matthews also played for New Zealand a few years back, so we've got 4 blackjacks of various eras playing in that women's semi-final.
Yeah, certainly do. Very experienced players, so very much looking forward to bringing you the updates and results of those matches. But at the moment our focus is on the men's pairs in this quarter-final between Nathon Glasson, Jordan King up against Mike Kernaghan and Ryan Burnett.
And Ryan Burnett holding the shot, as Brendan rightly said just a moment ago. It's been a number of ends gone by, but that first time we've seen it as Jordan King ran into Nathon Glasson bowl. Still be Burnett holding the ones. You'll see Mike Kernaghan coming up towards us here, towards the clubhouse end here at Club Papanui. Breaking down towards the head now is the Kernaghan bowl. He's going to come back far enough to get to count for him. Despo needs to get into the scoring mode, but it's going to go past. Had a pretty good line, just wasn't like the yard too much weight.
Yeah, you can see it sitting just to the left of the after 13 here. So that's where that's finished up. Got a nice little touch off that wide Nathon Glasson bowl because it had too much weight on it, but not a bad place to be. I'll see if Jordan King can get this one to run towards the jack. It's going to come just under the line.
Jordan King endeavouring to play through the port between the Ryan Burnett bowl and the Nathon Glasson bowl and get a touch on them.
Yeah, it's a small port. It's certainly not a big door open there for Jordan King, and wasn't able to find it with his second, so he's ran after it to have a little look at the head, assess the situation, have a chat with his lead, Nathon Glasson.
Mike Kernaghan's bowl this time is going to run to the Ryan Burnett bowl, turn it over, make another shot of it. It's a very good bowl, but
it's opened up the jack. That's exactly right. Now, if he wants to try and play that shot, Jordan King, he can try and run the jack in the ditch. We've seen him play it once already.
And of course it is Nathon Glasson who has got the back bowl here. So King will play with confidence up to the jack. Mike Kernaghan just rolled the ball over, just opened that viewing up to the jack. Down on that backhand side. There's King now, he's on the mat. The Tasman Marco certainly running down on that backhand side as we predicted, trying to get to the jack or the 2 bowls. Got the jack clean, bounce out to the side.
And sits right on a Nathon Glasson bowl somehow.
Yeah.
So there it is. There, see the picture? Right on the Nathon Glasson bowl.
Now, interesting here. Mike Kernaghan could dislodge that bowl. 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 4 and a measure if he can dislodge that bowl, because the 2 front bowls up there are Mike Kernaghan's. The blue bowl and behind is Ryan Burnett, and there's one back towards the marker pair here, which is also a Ryan Burnett bowl. So a big bowl here for Kernaghan to try and convert to make a big scoring end.
Yeah, this could certainly change the whole context of this game if he can execute here and get the mat back, and more importantly, he can add a big number and get his pairing right back into the contest. So playing with weight, trying to do exactly what Kevin just mentioned, but this is going to go past. It's not going to count. So one more to King and Glasson as they roll on in this men's pairs quarter-final. 15-4 they now lead after 14 of the 18 ends. So ends time certainly running out on Kernaghan and Burnett, and I think Kevin's got more scores from the other boards.
Certainly have in the women's pairs from the green behind us here. I can tell you the defending champion Val Smith against Nicole Toomey. 9 ends have gone. It's Smith leads by 8 shots to 6, 8 shots to 6, and a very quick turnaround in the Caitlin Inch Rayner game, Dale Rayner game, and it is now Caitlin Inch leading by 16 to 4. 16 to 4. So 16-4 after 11 ends, and Claire Hendra and Taylor Bruce leading Lindy O'Callaghan by 16-8 after 12, 16-8 after 12, and remembering that last game is in fact a semi-final, so the winner of that game will go straight through to the final. It was interesting, we just saw Ryan Burnett sort of ask if we can borrow a couple of those shots so that his partner, Caitlin Lynch, has got out there leading 16-4. Who would desperately like to just about got a similar scoreline out here the other way, 15-4.
Yeah, it certainly would. I think he'd like Caitlin Lynch to be playing out here for him. Unfortunately, hasn't been his day, Ryan Burnett, but it continues to be the tournament for Caitlin Lynch, that's for sure. Looking very much in control there. A place in the semi-finals awaits. Of course, it's going to be a busy old day if it all goes to plan for Caitlin Lynch in the quarterfinals of the women's singles as well. Likewise, Ryan Burnett in the quarterfinals of the men's singles.
We can tell you that the Raymond Martin game, Raymond Martin up against Finbar McGuigan, that's come to an end. That was of course, that was a quarter-final match, and it is the Raymond Martin and Robbie Bennett who have run out the winners over Finbar McGuigan and Mike Carroll. So
yeah, the first of the men into the semi-finals, so we've had a few of the women's semi-finalists found, and this is the first men's semi-finalist, so they were leading 23-6 after 13 ends there before it was called quits. So congratulations to Raymond Martin and Robert Bennett, comprehensive win over Finbar McGuigan and Mike Carroll in the All Wellington affair, and they now await the winner of this contest in front of us between, of course, Jordan King and Nathan Glasson up against Mike Kernaghan and Ryan Burnett. And if you have just joined us, it has been all Jordan King and Nathan Glasson in what the last 9 ends of this contest.
Well, at end 7 we were all locked up at 4-all at end 7, and here we are now at end 14 where it's 15-4 to King and Nathan Glasson.
Commentary mics again, gusting through Papanui Club here in Christchurch has made it difficult for all the players, but of all of them, Nathan Glasson and Jordan King have certainly managed it the better, dictated terms as well. As you just heard from Kevin, having won the last 9 ends, they've had control of the mat, they've had control of where the jack has been placed, and have just added to their score.
Mike Kernaghan just played his second bowl and just walked away. He knew as soon as he let it go that he was wide, high, wide and handsome. And again, it'll be Nathan Glasson who's holding the shots on this, the 15th end. And certainly running out of ends. And Raymond Martin and Robbie Bennett of Wellington last through to the semi-final. So watch now, Jordan King. To be another counter. Kernaghan down again on the forehand.
Yeah, again we're playing towards the new Papanui Club end here, and it's not a great collection of bowls.
Mike Kernaghan trying to get shot of this, trying to at least get something, has to get under the bowl all the way through, and does he get far enough? Well,
might just be it, and they need this. They desperately need this. No, still one more to Glasson, and King signals Nathan Glasson. So he's still got the mat, incredibly, and really the ends are well and truly running out for Kernaghan and Burnett. 15-4 it is, now going to 16-4. And just 3 ends remaining. So 15 of 18 played.
He'd have to score a number on this end to even continue on after this end.
So it looks like it.
So another good opening bowl. In fact, a back toucher from Nathan Glasson.
He's been relentless, hasn't he, Kevin?
He certainly has. He's been outstanding. Certainly dominated from end 6, really. It's been Nathan Glasson who has applied the pressure end after end after end, and really it's only really been one head since then where Mike Kernaghan had a good scoring opportunity, and Jordan King took care of that.
Well, we thought we might have a pretty tight affair on our hands, didn't we, when it was 4 apiece after 7 ends. But since that moment, it has been all Jordan King and Nathan Glasson.
Well, the wind certainly hasn't affected Nathan Glasson at all, has he? He's just, he's had a couple of loose ends, especially going away from the commentary position. But really, overall, his consistency has been just fantastic for Jordan King to be able to control the game.
Yeah, and his loose, playing away from the commentary position, has been better than everyone else's loose. and that's what's given him that bit of an advantage and has made things a lot easier for Jordan King, as we see right on cue. Another great bowl from Nathan Glasson. High five from Glasson to King, as the pressure again just piled on Ryan Burnett, who's going to have to play a weighted shot. And here comes the drive. Has he got the target? In fact, he's going to knock away all of his bowls, and that really sums up the day for Ryan Burnett, doesn't it? It's just not been his morning. He plays the drive. He was a bit under with the line, took away his front bowl, also took away his second, and at the moment there is only 3 Nathan Glasson bowls on the green. Nothing for the Kernaghan-Burnett combination.
No, it's certainly been a master display from my viewpoint from Nathan Glasson. I was actually, I had the pleasure of watching him at Stoke recently in the Stoke Pairs, where he won that event with Andrew Kelly and was dominating as well in the final against Andre Smith, and a very, very good player. And of course, part of the Canterbury side last year that won the New Zealand Inter-Centre finals. We watched Jordan King now just going to pull up short, going to get right across onto the centre line with this short bowl. That's what Mike Kernaghan didn't really want.
Yeah, that's nuisance value, isn't it? It wasn't what Jordan King, I don't think, was trying to do. I think he was just trying to add another one to the count. But coming up that short and right on the line has pretty much meant that Mike Kernaghan can't drive it the jack now.
No, the chances of him seeing the jack clean pretty remote. He's as well going to finish on the centre line as well, and may well be third shot, as Nathan Glasson indicates that to Jordan King, who playing down on his backhand again. His second bowl on this, the 16th end, leading 16-4. And this is another good bowl coming in here, Brendan. Just going to break in towards the head now, and this will be another counter for sure. Sits in behind the shot bowl. Kernaghan, as Brendan rightly said, can't attack, can't drive, because he can't see the line to the jack because the bowl is sitting right on the centre line. Kernaghan here trying to get down to the jack. He's on a good line. This is the New Zealand player. He's going to get a touch on the jack, draws a toucher. Superb bowl by, and he puts his arms up.
Says about time. Have been waiting for that a long, long time. It just has not been their morning, Burnett and Kernaghan. So they're the ironic hands in the air from Mike Kernaghan, as he realises that they're finally going to be able to grab the mat, because this bowl from Jordan King isn't going to grab the shot. And I hope it is one, or is it maybe a bit of a measure here? Because Ryan Burnett didn't seem too convinced about it.
I think they're looking to see whether there's a scoring chance to get to those bowls and split them all out, but really it's only going to bring in, if that was to happen, it's only going to bring in one more, and it's very hard to dislodge all of those 3 bowls. Mind you, we saw it happen the other day with Debbie White in the pairs up against Joe Edwards with the front toucher that Joe Edwards held, and Debbie White drove and dislodged all of the Edwards bowls and sat there with shots. So funny things can happen as the wind really blows through now. Kernaghan trying to get up to these bowls of the King side, and in fact he just got his own, and
they shake hands. That is game. So,
and it was a 1.
Not able to come up with a big number, they decide that is it. Kernaghan and Burnett going down to King and Glasson. So congratulations to Jordan King and Nathon Glasson. They are through to the semi-finals of the men's pairs with a comprehensive win over Mike Kernaghan, the former champion from 2007, and Ryan Burnett, the Scotsman. They will now take on Raymond Martin and Robert Bennett in the semi-finals of the men's pairs. And we've said it all day, but what a fantastic performance from these two, particularly their lead, Nathon Glasson.
Nathon Glasson from end 5 or 6 has been outstanding. He had bowls in and around the counting position on the head, end after end after end. And of course, Burnett and Kernaghan were the TAB favourites going into this event. But today they had no answer whatsoever for the consistency that Nathon Glasson brought to the match, and made things so positive for Jordan King when they changed over. I think there was only from end 6 onwards, I think there was only 1 or 2 ends at the most where Mike Kernaghan actually changed over holding the shot. So a convincing win to Nathon Glasson and Jordan King. Of course, Jordan King, the defending champion, won last year with his clubmate Chris Lowe. And is he going to go back to back? Who knows? At least he's there in the semi-finals. And of course, that other semi-finalist that has already been found as well was that of Raymond Martin and Robbie Bennett of Wellington. And the other last 16 matches are underway as well, which we updated you of a few moments ago. So the semi-finalists, one lot have been found. They've been found, and very, very convincing display here this morning by Jordan King and Nathon Glasson. As we'll take a break, and we'll be back with more action shortly.
Indeed, we'll have the men's pairs quarter-final again. Another men's pairs quarter-final will be Andrew Kelly and Richard Hocking, looking like they're going to be taking on Taylor Horn and Sheldon Bagri-Howley at this stage, but certainly Andrew Kelly and Richard Hocking through to the quarterfinals, and I believe you actually have the latest scores.
Yeah, certainly have. I can tell that Andrew Kelly has won over Kevin Gore by 21-7. Andrew Kelly, the current New Zealand Blackjack, playing with Richard Hocking, New Zealand development player. He won 21-7. And then we had Taylor Horn and Sheldon Bagri-Howley. They were up against the combination of Craig Merrilees and Craig Tinkler of Southland, and it was the Horn Bagri-Howley winner, 21-7. Of course, Taylor Horn last year won the New Zealand singles, and so they're still going. And then Keanu Darby and playing with Richie Kerr, they were up against Shane Sincock and Warren Park. And after 13 ends, it is Keanu Darby's combination that leads by 13 shots to 9. So Taylor Horn won 21-7, and Andrew Kelly wins 21-7 over Kevin Gore.
That's it from now at Papanui Club in Christchurch. We'll be back shortly with another men's pairs quarter-final.